getting you through the lunch hour and into the second half of your day.
It's the Chad Benson Show
on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? Happy Monday. A little thunderstruck. We were over the weekend. We were blessed. We didn't get hit as hard as some of the other states. Listen throughout the day. We were here, all of us, over the weekend in some way, shape, or form, whether online, via the Comrex system, on the phone, Joan, and Ken doing his thing at his house. I saw you in there, Ken, on there. I was looking, look at Ken over there, right? He's got his camera on. He's rocking it. But luckily, we didn't get hit as bad as others did, and it was brutal out there. And across the country winds. It doesn't have to be tornadoes to do some damage, and that was for sure. And I think we could be in for some nastier weather later on this week. God willing, it's nothing like what we saw. But as we always talk about, nature will do what nature does, and nature does nature things. And unfortunately, nature was brutal over the weekend in several states, including like Missouri, absolutely, Alabama, took a beat down Mississippi. It was just nasty. And we got hit pretty good, but there by the grace of God go us. And just a great job for everybody this weekend, working hard here. There's so many places to start. You know what's funny is the whole, I heard, that Trump wants to, look at these pardons. And, I'm sitting there going, okay, yay, nay. And it has nothing to do with the pen, by the way. Because I think a lot of people think it has all to do with this auto pen. It doesn't. Auto pen's been used for a long time. It's not a big deal. It is whether or not he knew about any of these things is the question. So, and that is for somebody else to decide. Because as much as all of us would like him to go, hey, first of all, who did you pardon? Not even retroactive. You pardoned people who hadn't been charged with anything, which is weird. And I don't know. I think that right there is a bigger issue. Like, how do you pardon somebody who's not been even accused of something in a court of law? And I'm not talking about online. Or pardon somebody who hasn't been convicted of anything. So that was an interesting thing. But of course, obviously, the big stuff this weekend, the Houthis, that was not about the Houthis either, as horrible as they are. They're freaking awesome. They're just so awful. I mean, what Trump did was great. That was a message singularly for one group of people, Iran and the Iranians. You are not doing anything when it comes to nuclear weapons. We just want you to understand what is coming. If you even think about it, it's not going to be Israel. As much as Israel would like to, it will be us. So deal with these people in a way where you tell them, hey, we're not getting involved anymore. You guys do what you want. And as bad as Gaza is, and it is horrific, Yemen has suffered through a famine over the last few years. A war that has been horrific. Torture, rape, murder, I can go on and on. And the Houthis have been at the head of it all. And it's time that this was all about Iran. And when I hear them talking about, did you see all the people that were killed in Yemen? They were all kids. I'm like, really? It's always kids and women. Nobody else? So they're out there manning everything? They're out there protecting all of the missiles? Is that what you guys are doing? It's always about the kids. Yeah, we put the kids out there. That's what we had to do. That's how they protect them. But this was about Iran. Make no doubt. This had nothing to do with the Houthis and whether or not they're firing. They don't do anything without express written consent by Iran. The Houthis do nothing. They have to get it's okay. And boom. They got something else different this weekend. Something different. And that different was, hey, we're not going to tolerate this. And like I said, the Houthis were the people that felt the brunt. The target, though, is the Iranian regime, because as they are starting to continue to flirt with over and over again a nuclear weapon, which we have said on numerous occasions, and I've said it for years, that paper wasn't worth anything it was written on when they made a deal for nuclear weapons with Iran. It was never worth anything. And the problem should be, if they ever got a nuclear weapon, do you realize that we'd have to basically arm a vast majority of that area? Because there's no way, shape, or form that anybody in their right mind would think that Iran wouldn't start using them and bullying everybody in the neighborhood. And the upheaval, as crazy and as wacky as North Korea is, Iran is a bigger issue. You think Saudi Arabia, who is there, as much as Saudi Arabia, quote unquote, hates the Jews, which they don't, they just want to do business. Everybody just leave them alone. They hate Iran more. And Iran hates them more. So you could not allow them to be the only ones on the block with a nuclear weapon. And that's why this message was important. And the other message this weekend was immigration. Everybody saw it. I know a lot of you are probably excited about it. Bad hombres, as Trump likes to call them. That's what he called them too. Bad hombres. Very bad.
I can tell you this, these were bad people. That was a bad group of, as I say, hombres. That was a bad group. When you look at them and you look at the crimes that they've committed, you take a look. You don't get any tougher. You don't get worse than that. You understand that?
I think we all understand it. They are bad hombres. And they're gone. A lot of them were wanted in other countries. A lot of them had done stuff here, which is not a shocker that they're out roaming the streets because for whatever reason, we've decided to have nobody in jail. Now, the interesting thing is what comes next. Because the act that he has, and look, I'm a big believer in due process. I'm also a big believer in the Constitution. And he said, hey, you know what? This is war.
Criticism that the Alien Enemies Act has only been invoked 3 other times. They were all during times of war. Do you feel that you're using it appropriately right now?
Well, this is a time of war because Biden allowed millions of people, many of them criminals, many of them at the highest level. They emptied jails out. Other nations emptied their jails into the United States. That's an invasion. And these are criminals, many, many criminals. Murderers, drug dealers at the highest level, drug lords, people from mental institutions. That's an invasion. They invaded our country. So this isn't, in that sense, this is war.
But it's not war the way that this thing was supposed to be used. And remember, who can declare war? Anyone? Congress declares war. Now, I want these people gone. I think we all do. Don't give people the reason to say, look at what you're becoming. Don't tell them, you know what? We're going to do whatever we want to do, whenever we want to do it, and nobody can stop us. That is not a good thing at all. I want these people gone in a major way. They are bad hombres, as he said. That being said, and I don't know, like he said, well, the plane took off. And there's a possibility by the time this guy got everything said and done, it was in the air and it was over international space. You know what? Are we really all going to cry over this all day long? No. But the question is, what comes now? The one thing Trump hasn't done is he's not defied court orders. And that's a good thing. Because we do have 3 separate co-equal branches of government, and we want to make sure we continue to have that. Even though, let's be real, Congress has kind of given up a lot of their oomph over the last 15, 20 years. They don't want to make any decisions, right? They pass things on to agencies. You guys make up this. You guys do. We don't want people to be mad at us. That's Congress. What we want is you follow the laws, because when you win in court and when you win and they have nothing to say, that's the big thing, because they've got nothing. They've got. And look, they're going to look for every advantage, and I love the fact that Trump's thinking outside. Well, okay, let's try this. Let's see what this is, and then go to court because, as we've said, he's going to throw a lot of stuff against the wall. We're going to see what sticks. We are going to see what sticks. Is this going to stick? Is it not going to stick? It's been used 3 times. It was first used in 1812, War of 1812. For those of you who are historic, Germany. World War I, they used it then. And then against the Italians, the Japanese, and the Germans. Now, that was wartime. Is this war? Have we declared war? What would it look like if it got to court? Because remember, he can't declare war. That's Congress. Of course, Biden, somebody's like, do you say Biden? Of course, Biden defied courts until he got to the Supreme Court. Once it died, it died. And he tried it over and over again with different things. But if you think we should just throw everybody out, if you guys are cool with throwing away the Constitution, then let me know. I mean, I'm interested in that. Are you guys fine with doing away with the Constitution? Are you? I mean, I don't want to do away with it, but are you guys fine with doing away with the Constitution? That's the big thing. If you're not, if you're like, hey, nope, the president should be the end all to say all, then that's great. I'm okay if that's the way you guys feel. That's fine. And if the goal is let's just get rid of everybody, okay. But what happens if somebody else becomes president from a different party? Probably not the Democrats because they suck so much. We'll call that Party B. Party C, like I see you guys laughing in there. Did you see those
Green
numbers?
Party.
The Green Party, right? Like, what's her name? Jill Stein takes over.
The Socialist Party.
Whatever. The thing is, I'm a study. I love the Constitution. I look at the Constitution. It is 3 co-equal branches. Yes, the president has certain leeway. So does the Supreme Court. So, I mean, the judicial system itself and the legislative body, which at this point in time is useless. We all recognize that. I want these people gone. I've had dealings with MS-13. How many of you said that? Trust me, I know how bad these hombres are. How really bad they are in ways that many of you probably don't or may never, ever understand. But there's also a system. Should we ignore the Constitution because we want our guy to do what he wants to do? I think that's a fair question out there. So, Trump is not violating the Constitution. He hasn't. If he was to send people back today, if he said, screw it, I don't care what the judge says, whatever I say goes. I'm saying if he was to do that, I haven't said he has. I said if he was to do that, then why have judges at all in that situation? Isn't that a fair thing to say, or am I wrong, guys? What do you think? I mean, should we just let him run and do whatever he wants to do? No. And I think most of you recognize that. You would want that on the other side. That's why we have judges. That's why we have our co-equal branches. And like I said, one of the branches, being Congress, has decided they don't want any part of anything serious. So they ignore it. Or they kick it down the road, or they have somebody else make up the rules, like agencies. Serious question, though. Some of you be mad. Oh, my God, you just don't know. I look at this and I say to myself, I want Trump to do it right, because when you measure twice and you cut once and you get it right and you don't give them any more fuel for the fire, it makes them look bad in not only the long run, but the short term. So let's see what happens. Coming up, a lot of stuff to get to today. Yes, we made fun of the Democrats, and they deserve it because their numbers are so bad. Litter box bad is how bad their numbers are. We're going to talk a bit about that. Bunch of other stuff to get to. If you missed the show, grab the podcast. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.